Hi everyone and welcome to the Book Refuge, and today I'm doing a dedicated review to The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green. That was really hard to pronounce. I haven't done a dedicated review in so long and I'm really sad about that. It's just lately I haven't felt like I've read one that hasn't already been talked to death or other people haven't, made reviews for, or else they've been really old and I felt like people haven't cared. This book is getting kind of old, but it was my viewer choice for May to read, and so I wanted to do a dedicated review because enough of you obviously interested in it that I know you'll care. So also, excuse me, I am suffering from allergies as well as getting over a cold right now, so my voice sounds like I'm being strangled. I am, by pollen and phlegm, so I'm sorry. But so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to tell you a main layout of the story, and then I'm going to tell you a few things I liked and anything that I disliked. I don't really have any spoilers to say about this book, so I don't think this is going to turn into a spoilers. But if after I've talked through all those things there's anything I want to spoil, I'll put up a spoiler thing to warn you, but we're not going to do spoilers right now. So first off, this was a very intriguing story to me. I was nervous going into it because it has 5 different points of view, and I've read a lot of those kind of books lately. Between the Wheel of Time series that I'm reading, it reminds me a lot of Leigh Bardugo stories, and a couple other like fantasy when they're broken up into so many perspectives. I just get a little like burnt out with that. However, when I get into it, I really liked what was going on in some of these. And one of the things that's cool about this is because I'm about to go through the 5 characters, they're all in different places, and one of the things that the author does is at the heading of each chapter, she tells you the name and then where they are. And there's this beautiful, super easy to read map that says all those places. Read a few books lately where the maps are really hard to read, and then I'm like, what's the point of a map if I can't read it? Anyway. Alright, so we get 5 characters. I'm going to go through them all. So first we get Tash. This is a 13-year-old girl. She is described as having dark brown skin and dreadlocks, and she's really feisty and wily, and right now she really wants a new pair of shoes. And the way that she gets those shoes is her and her older partner, who he basically bought her out of slavery and then like freed her, and now she works with him and she likes working with him. So she's in this like really like grumpy like parent-child or like partner-child relationship, and it's really interesting. But they hunt demons for their smoke, which, I figured I'd be getting into demon smoke because it's called the Smoke Thieves and that's what it's about. So the way that they hunt this is they build a pit, they put like spikes and like trap in the pit, and she has running shoes and she will lure the demon, run them past the trap, she falls in, she gets out, and then they kill the demon, and as the demon dies it expels its last breath, and it is this colored smoke. So it's purple, orange, red. Those are the 3 that I've seen explained so far. I don't know if there's other kinds. And then they bottle that smoke, and this is all illegal, of course, but people use this as a controlled substance. Like they'll smoke it, and they later on we see that they get healing powers or like super strength for a certain amount of time when they take it. But of course, like any controlled substance, you can become addicted to this and then go crazy basically. So that's who Tosh is. We meet her. She has primarily very short chapters, but she's very fun. She's the first chapter that you read and very interesting. And so she's a 13-year-old former street urchin who now works in this kind of like illegal smoke stealing situation. Next, we have Princess Catherine of Braganza, can't pronounce these, who is about to be married off to the Crown Prince of Pretoria, I think is how you say it. It's been planned that she would marry him, political alliance, of course, as arranged marriages are, and she's okay with that. Like, it is her duty. However, everyone in the palace, like literally everyone, is sure that she's in love with her royal guard. And so she has an older brother named Boris, who it is his like crowning jewel that she be married to this prince she's going to marry. Like his job is going to be to bring her to this prince, get her married off, and then his dad will be proud of him, basically. And her brother Boris is an absolute asshole. Excuse me for saying it, but it's a thing. And so the first we meet Catherine, she's being taken to a hanging. And the woman being hanged is Ambrose, her royal guard's older sister. And she was a lady in waiting to some other women in the court. And as Anne is her name, is being hung, she does some signs to Catherine. And so all these ladies' maids and the like princess and the queen, they have this kind of sign language between them so that they could use it during, you know, like serious situations or like royal situations where they're not supposed to talk but they still need to communicate. And so Anne does these 3 signs. She says demon, smoke, and boy. She says these 3 things before she dies. So she was accused of being a traitor. We don't really know what she did or what's going on. And it breaks Ambrose's heart. So then we move over to Ambrose, and he is Catherine's royal guard. He, yes, is in love with her, but they weren't going to do anything about it. She has her duty. It's to prevent there from being a war, and they're okay with it. Like, it's one of those things where, like, everybody else thinks that they're, like, more in love with each other than, like, they think that they are. And I really kind of like that aspect because they both are about their honor and duty. It's just that the people that they are duty bound to are horrible. And so Catherine's brother Boris is so worried that she might run away with Ambrose that he tries to have Ambrose killed. As well as, like, he's the brother of a traitor, so hanging his sister right in front of them was supposed to make him, like, freak out so that they'd have a reason to kill him too, but it doesn't work. And then Ambrose ends up having to fight, kind of into too many spoilers here, but this is the inciting incidents. Like, I know it sounds like we're doing all the spoilers, but this is all, like, the setup of each of the characters for what we're going into. So, I'm sorry if that feels like spoilers to you, but I'm just trying to set it up for everybody. So anyway, so those are 3 of our characters so far: Tash, Catherine, and Ambrose. And in the beginning of this novel, Catherine's going to be getting married, Tash is helping hunt demons, and Ambrose ends up running in exile because he is, you know, wrongly accused of being a traitor as well, and he has to kill one of Boris's men to escape. And he doesn't want to leave because his job is to take care of Catherine, but Catherine orders him to go. And so he doesn't know what he's going to do with his life, but he's on the run in the beginning. And then we move over to 2 other characters. So first we have March, who he is a slave slash servant to one of the other kings in the land. I believe it's the king of Savant. I'm not sure, but I think so, because there's 3 kingdoms in this. And he's tired of being a slave. He doesn't like how his people were treated. And so he decides he's going to work out a plot to kidnap the king's bastard son and, like, hold him for ransom or try to make some changes in the country by doing that. Wasn't really sure what the plan was with that in the beginning. And then fifthly, we have Eden, not sure how to pronounce his name, who is a bastard looking for his father. So there's that. I will say that both March and Eden have some LGBT rep going. And that's all that I'll say, even though that basically says it all, which was refreshing. It actually was very refreshing how those aspects are worked into the story. And there's no, like, eyebrow raising or stone the person or kill them because they like a man. It's happening. And I love it. I freaking love how they worked it into this fantasy. Anyway, I'm jumping into the things that I liked right now. And that's one of the things I liked. I just liked how this story was told. There is, like, some modern language. Like, there's a lot of F-bombs in this book. And you know how it is when you're reading a fantasy and then like someone says an F-bomb and you're like, oh, we're using those. Cool. Also, this is a very bloody book, starting with the hanging of Anne, which happens in chapter 2. And there is carnage in this book. And I just wasn't expecting it. Like, this looks like, you know, a YA fantasy that you would just, but it was brutal. Like, I was finishing it last night and some stuff goes down. Like, oh my goodness. So, yeah, it was bloody, kind of crass. There aren't really any trigger warnings, though, to tell you. Like, nobody's abused, nobody's getting into, like, the things that happen are mostly, like, battle-related. It's not, like, you know, there's no rapes or things like that. So, really happy to say there's no trigger warnings in this. There's, in my opinion, some pretty good LGBT rep. There's some good diversity in regards to different members of this cast and their ethnicities. It's really cool. And then I really liked how practical a lot of the people were. Like, I didn't see a lot of stupid decisions being made. It's a lot of, like, other forces are forcing us to make these decisions. Catherine, after, you know, like, she doesn't even know that she's in love with Ambrose. Like, she doesn't think that she is. She admires him. He takes good care of her. He's her guard. He's always protected her. And it's other people telling them, you know, she didn't set out to be someone trying to, like, buck off expectations. She's planning to marry the Prince of Pretoria. That is her goal. That's what she's going to do. And the way she goes about it is, like, everybody is, like her brother is just like, you're going to do this. You have to do this. You're going to do what I say. And don't try to do it any other way than how I want you to do it. And she's like, I was never going to try to get away from it, right? But it's how she has the dignity and how she, like, plans to do it. Like, she's been in chains basically her whole life. Like, you know, raised for an arranged marriage. Women don't have any say in her country. She's going to a country where women do have say. And she plans to start her life out right and live it the way that she wants to live it. So, if you can't tell, Catherine was kind of my favorite. I didn't think she would be, because her first couple chapters, she seemed really weak to me. And I thought Ambrose was going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting in just trying to save her and all the things. But Catherine does a great job with that herself. Okay. Things that I didn't like, I'll just mention this. There wasn't a lot. However, I still gave this a 3.5 for a couple things. It was very confusing for a while. Like, even though they, like, told you where the places were, I was really confused. As well as everybody besides Ambrose and Catherine, because they're literally in scenes together, so you know they're there. It's very confusing what was happening with the other people, and part of that would be for me because I was very bored by March and Edion's story. Like I said, I was happy for the representation that was there, and those parts of the book were my favorite parts, like them interacting and things like that. But I didn't like reading from their points of view was a problem, and so almost half of this book I was pretty bored, and that's what really was hard for me to, like, push through this one. That's why it took a couple weeks. And so I ended up kind of skimming a couple of those chapters. And so if a book has me skimming and I'm not reading every page, that usually brings it down just because. But yeah, like I said, the ending to this book, very strong. There's a lot of stuff that goes down in the last fourth of it that was great. And I do think it had a good build. Like, I don't think it was completely boring in the first 3 quarters and all the action was at the end. No, there was lots of stuff happening. Like I said, this is a bloody book. There's lots of, like, fights and skirmishes, and each of our characters is dealing with different things that are difficult for them. But I just, because of how long it took and my enjoyment level in the beginning, that's why I'm giving this a 3.5. I really enjoyed Books and Lala's thing about, like, how she rates books, and, like, there's just a stigma behind anything less than a 4 being bad, and that's not the case. I like this enough that I can't wait to read the next one. I think it has demon in the title, I can't remember, but I'm very excited to continue. I need to be honest that it was a 3.5 for me, but it was very fun. I feel like any other time of the month, if I wasn't in a slump, this would have been a pretty easy read. It's like the pages don't have a ton on them, and it was really enjoyable. So this is a 3.5 star read for me. I do recommend it. like I said, most of the reasons why not was a me thing. I think other people might connect with those characters more than I did. I just really connected with Catherine, and by that, then I liked Ambrose. And Tash was just fun. She's great. She does have an important part to play in the story. It's just kind of confusing in the beginning. So that's enough about this. I really enjoyed it. Thank you guys for picking it for me, because who knows when I would have got to it. I hope that you vote on the June one, which that video went up on Wednesday. Vote for what I'm going to be reading in June, because I really liked what you picked so far. So thanks so much for watching. I put up new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you can watch some more right now. Bye!